It was September 21st, 2016, when Faith Green watched as two of her children were murdered, execution style, by her ex-husband. After shooting Faith in the foot and slashing her face with a box cutter, she would later learn her ex-husband, Gregory Green, killed their two youngest children as well, leaving her to deal with the aftermath.
It has been 6 years since that night in 2016, and despite the trauma she continues to deal with, Faith Green is using her story to help others. Kimberly Gill joins us now with how she's doing just that. Kim.
Yeah, guys, I mean, as you can imagine, she says the pain of losing her 4 children to murder never really goes away. She says she has good days and bad days. She volunteers and has written a book. And she tells me every day she tries to keep her children's memory alive while helping other women who may be in similar situations.
You never get used to it because you still always expect them to walk through the door, you know. You just find a way to cope with it.
Coping. That's the best way Faith Green can describe her life 6 years after she witnessed her husband murder her 4 children in their Dearborn Heights home.
How are you keeping your children's legacy alive?
I'm working on something in honor of my son, Chadney. He graduated from Specs Howard, so I was so proud of him for that, for digital media arts, and then he was just starting his business, so I want to, you know, do something with his artwork.
Oh, nice.
So, and then Kara, she was trying to get into the medical program, so I want to do something for like future scholarships. And then with the girls, they were younger, probably maybe something with lip gloss like I was doing before, and just donate to like a family. So, but definitely something to keep their memories alive in honor of them.
Would you say that there were red flags that you ignored, and if so, what were some of those?
I can say the red flags were, you know, mood swings, the arguments for no reason, or, you know, basically it was like being married but single. He just paid the bills, but he didn't want to be interactive, and then it got to the point where it was like, you know, he didn't want the older two there, really.
Faith would file for divorce 3 times, including the last about a month before the incident. For women in similar situations, she wants them to know this.
The one thing that I didn't realize at the time that I found out after is when you're preparing to leave, that's the most dangerous time, which I knew I didn't even know, you know. And in my mind, I'm just like, well, I'm just preparing. I just want to save money so I can just, you know, get my kids out of there and just get our own place. But, you know, I didn't know his mindset, you know.
You know, I remember how brave you were when you faced Gregory in court.
While I stand up here trembling with fear, I put on my bravest face to be in the same room with the man who murdered all 4 of my children. 2 of them violently.
You said something to the effect that you were not going to let this hurt you the way he wanted it to, or you were gonna be strong. Right. How do you feel about that now? Do you feel that to be true?
Yes, even though I have my days where I'm down or I feel like I want to give up, but I can't because I have to keep going on for my children. And that's what they would have wanted. And but I made up my mind before I even knew what was going to happen that I wasn't going to suffer, even though he said he wanted me to. And I just refused. So I have to continue to fight. So I'm here for a purpose. And my purpose is to help other women. So I have to do that. You know, I didn't want it this way, but, you know, that's what I'm going to do.
Just what amazing strength and courage. So how is she helping other women? Well, she's working with a local women's shelter. She didn't want to tell me the name of the shelter for privacy reasons. And then, of course, she wrote a book. She's written about her life story, and she hopes that will help other women. You can find her book on Amazon. It's called The Monster That Killed His Family Twice, The Faith Green Story. We put a link to it on clickondetroit.com. The book also includes a list of resources for women who may need help leaving an abusive partner or are in a similar situation. victim. So
Yeah, there's so much here, Kim, and so many times we've seen trauma turn to advocacy for a lot of people. But I'm curious about the title of the book, you know, and where that came from.
Yeah, the monster that killed his family twice. Yeah, you might remember that it wasn't until after the attack that Faith learned that her husband had killed his previous wife, who was pregnant at the time, and that he had been granted early parole released by the parole board. So the title of the book is making reference to the fact that he has killed another woman and his child. So, oh gosh, it's heartbreaking, but encouraging because of her strength and courage to tell her story.
Yeah.
And for her to sit with you and to do that and share that with
and
us.
I thank her for that.
That's a lot.
That word you used, heavy. That's, boy, that
It's
describes it, yeah.
Thanks, Kim.
Absolutely.